Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. Glad you're back with me today. So I'm going to be continue reading in the book, The Mystery of the Black Hole Mine. Sorry, trying to get that out. So this is from the D.J. Dillon Adventure Series by Lee Roddy. Yesterday, DJ found out that he's going to have to work with his dad on Sunday. And so he wouldn't be able to go check out the mine and see if there's really gold in it. So he's made a decision to cut school or skip school the next day, and he's going to go there even if it's dangerous. He thinks if he can get gold, it will help his family and even the whole community. So we're going to read chapter 10. Danger deep in the mine. DJ was well up on Jawbone Ridge when he stopped for the 7th time to check his back trail. So that's to look behind him, make sure he's not being followed. His heart leaped at a distant movement below. Somebody's following me. He had carefully circled wide around the place where someone had fired the dart at Alfred and him, but the ground was soft and he'd left some tracks. It had even been worse where the bright sunshine had not yet melted the snow. Now someone was following him, but who? DJ lay behind the granite boulder the size of a doghouse and studied the distant figure dogging his steps. DJ had left his black backpack on the ground. It contained 200 feet of strong light rope, his hard hat with attached carbon light, that's a miner's light, a lunch, and other items that he would need in exploring the mine. He had also removed his canteen from his belt so it wouldn't clang against the bare granite boulder. Making sure his inconspicuous gray woolen stocking cap was snug about his ears, DJ slowly raised his head again and peered down the roadside. He's right on my trail, DJ told himself, but he's too far away to see me. Wish I'd brought binoculars. He crouched and eased the backpack onto his shoulders again. Well, he told himself, he's far enough away I can probably give him the slip if I stay out of the snow and the mud. Feeling confident of his woodsmanship, the boy hooked the canteen to his belt and looked ahead. His blue eyes picked up the best route. Scattered, shiny granite boulders glistened with melted snow. The sun would soon erase any tracks he had made. He just had to be careful. Oh, excuse me, it's getting late. Jumping from one to another of the treacherously tilted boulders. But it was the only way. He rose to crouch and began running. In half an hour, after many backward glances, DJ plopped onto his stomach behind a 3-foot-high sugar pine under the shadow of a big black oak. He peered cautiously through the dead branches while catching his breath. No sign of him. Good. Hiss. Thud. The deadly sound instinctively made the boy duck. He drove his face into the brown needles, now wet with snow. The dead branch snatched off his stocking cap. Cautiously, DJ looked up. A chunk of black oak bark fell from where the metal-tipped bolt had clipped the trunk above DJ's head. Wow, that was close. But how could it be snuck up on me so fast? Trying to control his breathing so the sound wouldn't give him away, DJ studied the bolt stuck in the tree. From the angle that it struck, DJ realized the bolt had come from the side and slightly ahead. It's like being chased by a shadow, DJ thought. Not a sound, not a glimpse of him, and yet he not only followed me since I saw him, but he's caught up with me. Where is he? I can't get a sight of him. The short hairs on the back of the boy's neck crawled in fright as DJ pondered the strange event. Wild thoughts tumbled through his mind. I shouldn't have cut school. I should have told someone where I was going. But I've got to have that gold, if it's there. The whole town needs it, not just my dad. So I've got to go find out today, because when it starts to snow, these mountains will be closed until April. Yet, I can't let anyone follow me all the way to the mine. DJ's eyes probed for a way to move. The scene below was deceptively peaceful, except for the bolt. Now silently embedded in the tree trunk, DJ saw only natural things. Soaring evergreen trees stretched up the side of the mountain towards the timberline. He'd soon be above the black oaks and the chokeberries. Overhead, the sky was clear except for 2 jet contrails about 7 miles up. The sun was gently touching the heavy forested side of the Jawbone Ridge, making deep shadows where the pursuer could hide. It looked so serene it was hard for DJ to believe that he was in such terrible danger. Yet someone was within 60 feet. DJ pressed himself against the cold, damp earth, making himself as small a target as possible while he thought what to do. Wish I hadn't come alone, DJ told himself. But now I'm into this mess and I've got to find a way out. He tried to breathe quietly, though his body was scalding with the inner heat that urged him to run. Still, the boy knew that movement was what gave wild animals away. It was difficult to see something that held perfectly still in the wilderness. DJ's eyes darted from tree to tree, from brush to shrub, and from rock to downed log. Nothing. DJ licked his lip with the tongue that was thick and dry. He felt the cold breeze slicing across his bare head. The woolen cap swung gently on the limb where it had been snatched away. The boy had an idea. He lay full length on the stickery pine needles and eased forward like a snake. He reached up cautiously and retrieved the cap. He clamped it between his teeth and began to crawl backward. Slowly, expecting to hear the terrible hiss and thud, DJ lay prone in the shelter of the log. He picked up a fallen dead limb about 6 feet long and eased the cap onto one end. Carefully, DJ raised the cap beyond the shelter of the limbs. He heard the hiss at the same time the cap was struck violently. The bolt carried the cap out of the boy's sight. Instantly, DJ leapt up. Oh, I'm so sorry, began running. He crouched low, racing through the dense brush he could find, staying out of the shade of the evergreens where little growth could survive. The crossbow's only got a single shot, DJ told himself as he ran. I hope it can't be reloaded as fast as a bow and arrow. DJ found a shallow ravine where melting spring snows had carved a channel towards the Mad River. The boy dove head first into the ravine and rolled down in a shower of dead leaves and sharp brown needles. At the bottom, DJ jumped to his feet. He scrambled up the mountainside, following the ravine's sheltering shadows. He ran till his chest seemed like it was about to explode, and the painful stitch developed in his side. Gasping painfully for breath, he staggered on till he stumbled over an exposed root of a Douglas fir. He lay panting hard where he fell at the bottom of the shallow ravine. When his breathing was under control, DJ carefully raised his head. He knew better than to look up over the top of the root. His scalp would be exposed before his eyes could see anything. DJ peered through a Y where the root divided. He held his breath and listened. The forest was quiet. He wished a blue jay would scream. They were such good alarm signals in the mountains. but the boy's frantic running would have scared away any bird and squirrel that might have been around. All DJ could hear was the soft, low moaning of the breeze and the long pine needles overhead. Slowly, carefully, the boy let out a breath that he'd held so long it had become painful. Think I finally lost him. Anyway, he didn't run after me very far, or I would have heard him. Sure wish I could have brought Hero with me. Two Mom would have been suspicious if DJ had taken his dog to school. In a way, the boy told himself it was better that he was alone. All DJ had to take care of was himself. Satisfied that it was safe, DJ at last eased himself up to the almost standing position. Still straining to hear and being very careful, he followed the ravine to its end. After again hiding behind the sheltering sugar pine's trunk and listening several minutes, DJ